here 1v1 Green Tooth Gorge, blue side. It's Double D's, also known as Tex, plays a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed on very good offense and disruption, fights mainly in melee combat. This is the Night Lord's elite scheme. And up against his old foe, it's Toilailee as a Warboss, a melee commander that's very, very angry, walk through objects, now some awesome offense, disruption and support from the front lines there. So Tex's first decision looks like he's made it. Does he get a second Heretic squad to help him cap up early on? Will allow him to perhaps push the Chaos Lord forward a bit more early for that pressure, since he will have that second Heretic squad, but he's not going for it. The downside, of course, being that shooters will melt Heretics pretty badly if they're in their default state. So it looks like he's going straight for a 1.5, and I'm guessing it's going to be Havocs up against a Warboss. I'm not sure if they knew what each other were going to choose, but it's likely Warboss going off, as he often does, to cap up this stuff. So both players have their natural. These guys hiding behind this shot blocking building. Maybe expected some shooter boys to pop up, but no, it's the Warboss. And now the Orks flooding the mid, and they're going straight for pressure on the power, I think. Just leaving that VP early on. Chaos Lord is capping up rec points, as are the CSM. And how much damage can Toilailee do here? It's just a node, but everything pretty much is here. Warboss is going to decap Tex's natural, and this node is going down. So that's 125 rec needed to replace this. He might even get the decap here. CSM coming over to take some shots at the shooter boys. They can tie them up in melee combat, of course, and do a pretty good job that way. But he's taking the heavy cover, and he's happy to shoot them down for now. There is a big shooter. We'll probably see a big shooter on one squad and a knob leader on the other squad. That's how all the cool kids do it these days, I think, in 1v1s. Sluggers did get the decap. Here come Heretics. And Sluggers are there. There's the Doom Blaster. Uses it to try and escape, but look at the damage now from the shooters. Havoc's coming into play. And Storm Boys, I guess, maybe. Depends where these Havocs go. If the Havocs go mid, then there's usually a decent amount of space to try and flank around. We will see. If he decides to use the Havocs on one of the flanks, we might see some Storm Boys popping up. Chaos Space Marines behind heavy cover, but they've dropped a model. And I'm going to say, why is the Warboss shooting in range? Is because it's got the enhanced custom shooter. Look at that DPS. Eat your heart out. Combi flamer. I'm not sure what the accuracy is like on move. And he has decent melee damage with it, as you can see there. 47.5 melee DPS, which is more than his default melee weapon, which is 42.5, I believe. Killed a weak. Shooter boy is turning to engage, and he doesn't want to fight because of those Havocs there. Chaos Lord with a, I think it's 26 DPS power melee weapon, which helps you fighting commanders, since commander armor, I believe, does take less damage from regular melee weapons. Here comes Sluggers. Kill the Weak has been used with that 60-second cooldown, so Toilailee knows that a Chaos Lord is vulnerable, but the Havoc saved the day. Able to suppress both the Warboss and the Sluggers there. And they're still shooting away. What's this? It's Heretics on the west side. Going for some Raptors is Tex. A very useful tool against those double shooters, since they are usually together. Jump in, suppress both of them, put them under pressure. Sluggers will be able to counter initiate pretty well in tier 2 if they're upgraded with a knob leader and stuff. Warboss with Angry Bits can use that to quickly come in from a flank on these Havocs. As you can see, plenty of room here to do so. Or even on the west side if he goes that way, but that'll be a bit more difficult since it's a longer route and it'll be spotted a bit easier. Raptors on the field now. 30 DPS melee with a suppress on landing of their jump. They do have a 65 energy jump though, so once you jump in, you better be sure you're not going to need to jump out. And here comes Sluggers to test that. They're trying to get as much models off those shooters as they can. They even forced them to retreat, in fact. A shooter knob coming up on those guys, and really good support play from those Havocs moving up to help out those Raptors, almost finishing off the Sluggers. You see, if those were Assault Marines, They would have been able to jump again and maybe finish off those sluggers. But of course they would have been doing less damage through that engagement. Storm Boys hit the field. A power melee jump squad. Don't have any on-jump effects until their tier 2 leader, in which case they will stun you when they land on your face, which is pretty brutal. Because these guys hurt. There's that jump again. They kind of twist and skew through the air. It's pretty cool. That's a lot of stuff there though. Chaos Lord, Heretics and Havocs with their melee resistance are able to get away with that on model loss. That's Odd Boys up on these guys. I believe it's 100 red global of the Warboss. Very good one it is too. 25% less damage on those guys. 25% resistance I should say. Warboss almost halfway through level 1, as is the Chaos Lord. Gonna need to back away here though, because that's a lot of stuff. Map is pretty even. Edging ahead is Tex. Warboss caught by those Havocs. He's using the Havocs very well. And here comes some Noise Marines. All three tier 1.5 units on the field for Tex. He's going to go for a power bash, but I think he's getting these mostly for the Blastmaster in tier 2. Put it in the mid, and he can cover that VP quite well. Sluggers are in there. Can use Cacophony since it won't knock down the Chaos Lord. Took a while to start using it there, but there it is. They drop a model and in fact retreat out. Havocs will now move up, I think. There we go. Chaos Lord doing his job, holding up play and drawing so much fire. Raptors now moving in. Special attack misses. Storm Boys with the jump. That's a relatively risky jump though, because he knows Raptors are around to come in on retreat. There's also CSM who can force melee on retreat. They can't even get a model off these Havocs. There we go. They drop a model. They drop 2 models in fact, and they are able to jump away. So that's good Stormboy play in the end. Really good Stormboy play. There's the stomp from the Warboss. That's his starting ability. Close range, point blank disruption, and some damage too. Raptors dropping a model to Shooter Boys, but jumping in. Happy to do so. Sluggers weren't quite in position to counter initiate quickly. I think they were trying to find a way towards the CSM, but those Havocs in that garrison make it difficult. They get away with 2 models, just about. Do so. Triple gens up for both players. Did not scratch the gens there, I don't think. Tex. And Havocs will allow the CSM to at least get the decap there. They're getting a bit low on hit points, and he's afraid of losing a model. Doesn't want to drop a model. 66 requisition, I believe it is, to reinforce the CSM model. Havocs, are they going to get out of here? Storm Boys are not very good chasers, and there you see it. Barely got a single hit on it, I think. Heretics in their default state, just 75 hit points per model. They can drop so fast, especially to any kind of area of effect damage. Noise Marines, I should say. I think we'll see Blastmaster immediately. I don't think he's going to take another run at the power with them, but we'll see. Toilailee already in tier 2. What does he go for? He goes for the Death Tread. Gonna say definitely a weird way, but no, he wants the Death Tread and he wants to go after those gens, I guess. How is Tex gonna respond? Is he expecting that thing? Can get a Power Fist up, and in fact he is getting his Aspiring Champion for the Raptors. We'll give him a Power Fist and a Melter Pistol. Pretty damn good squad leader upgrade now. Death Tread for 250-60. As you can see, a melee walk-up. Does around about 70 DPS heavy melee, I believe. It's a really good special attack, and of course splash damage. But the main reason it's got is to get burners and bits, which makes it tougher and gives it those front mounted burners so it can burn down generators pretty quickly. I think it's going to want to go really wide to the west side and go after the power that way, not come through the mid. He's asking for trouble, because here is a auto cannon. And the Blastmaster is up. Stormboy's jumping in though with the Knob Leader. And he has a massive chopper now. A heavy melee weapon that tears through everything. Noise Marines very lucky to get away with the 2 models there. Wow. CSM with their Aspiring Champions, so they'll be able to use Slaughter in a couple of minutes. Once the cooldown has finished. It starts on cooldown these days. Stormboy's taking a lot of damage and have to get away. There we go. Going to be a really important unit for Toilailee. With those Warboss buffs. We've not seen any user choppers usage yet, I don't think. But if he's in an engagement where the Storm Boys get caught by CSM and Raptors, double buffing them with user choppers and Odd Boys is going to be so useful. Raptors finish their cap on their way to level 2. What armor did Kel give them? Not sure what he's referring to. Death Tread now making its run. Burners and Bits on the way for 140-20. Takes up to 950 hit points. Used to take up to 1050. Can be very strong in 1v1s if you get it out early enough and make this run for the power. Burn it all down and then your enemy still needs to deal with a melee walker. Can burn down that shrine too, but here's that autocannon. And this thing does not mess around. That was a single burst at relatively long range of the Ark. Wow. Trying to finish it off. Took so much damage doing so though. And here come Raptors with Melter Gun. Melter Pistol I should say. And a Power Fist. And down goes the Death Tread without achieving a whole lot. Basically just feeding XP to Tex there. Did take down the Shrine, but that was it. East side meanwhile. The Chaos Lord, sorry, has gone down. Don't think he has any war gear, this guy. Might see the Blood Maul because of the Storm Boys being a threat. His Stick Bombers for Toilailee has 2 setup teams in the mid to deal with, so that's no real surprise. Can take them, trickle them down this east side and throw them across. Another shrine going up. Heretics with Aspiring Champion now building that thing that will spawn Bloodletters intermittently. Will spawn them faster if you worship the shrine. Here comes Storm Boys on those CSM. Not even Slaughter is going to save them from the wrath of this headbutting Nob Leader. That's a heavy melee headbutt. That is some serious headbutting. Warboss level 2. Not done a whole lot with this custom shooter. I don't think I've even seen him use Shoot 'em Good. I'm sure he has used it. I've just missed it. Jump from the Raptors. There is use your choppers from the Storm Boys though, and these Raptors are in trouble. Chaos Lord trying to get in for kill the week. No, he's using Drain Life. Raptors do get away. And we do see the Blood Maul on the way. Not only does it give you that disruption for offensive purposes in big engagements, but also gives you a good defensive skill. You can use that and then use it to escape the Sweeping Doom, since it has a really high knockback strength, I think. Knocks stuff absolutely flying and usually lets you get away quite easily from any melee unit that can be knocked back. Down goes that... was that a shrine there? Or was a generator, I think. 4-3-2, 1-8-1. Double cap for Toilailee goes to tier 3. Warboss happy to just shoot up this node here, not doing a huge amount of damage. Slug is still in a default state. And what we're going to see in tier 3, I think pretty much any of the choices, apart from perhaps Flash Kits, since they'll be jumped by the Raptors, would be good. Looted Tank or straight into Nobs, although, I mean, he could get some counter initiation gear on the Warboss and guard those Flash Kits, because they will do a lot of damage with those blasters. 391 to 181. Havoc's here being suppressed, but they will get a single burst of that very dangerous autocannon off before they are forced to retreat there. And shooters decapping stuff. Look at the map right now. Toilailee in a hugely advantageous position in terms of map control. There's Slaughter on the CSM. Wow, giving them beefy health regen in combat and some, I believe, 30 DPS melee weapons that Warboss will not get away. 346 to 181 is a triple cap for Toilailee. Leveling up there are Heretics, I think, or is that the Shooter Boys leveling? Whatever. Raptors turning to engage those Shooter Boys, getting a model, unlucky perhaps not to get another, and of course they can't jump again. Storm Boys missing the CSM, but he knows that Slaughter has been used on that 2-minute cooldown, so he is going after them, but there is a Sweeping Doom, and look at that knockback strength, that is crazy. Causes so much havoc, because even if they don't retreat out, they kind of get up and they need to get coherency again before they start attacking sometimes. This causes complete bedlam. Chaos Lord levels to 3, and he also has Demonic Visage with that Mantle of Hate, so he's going to be a pretty formidable combatant now. debuffing everything within range every time he strikes with that blood maul because of demonic visage. CSM, wow, dropping 2 models to the stick bombs. Stun bombs from those stick bombers might be important with this Chaos Lord running around. Can they time it though? Raptors now bashing a node. Will give them some XP, of course. Help them on their way to level 3. And that 65 energy jump. Look how much XP they got for doing all of the damage to that node. Helps them out so much leveling up just to get extra energy. Heretics with some corn worship. These are blood sacrifice bloodletters, which is why Tex is happy to just send them in and cause some havoc there. Chaos Lord getting a bit too close. Getting shot up really badly. Look at the shooter boy DPS still. Even to a leveled up and war-geared Chaos Lord, they are a threat from that range. Blastmaster is going to set up, I think, maybe. Yep, setting up a bit further back. He knows those Storm Boys are around. Looted tank on the field for Toilailee. What are we going to see in response? We're seeing a Dreadnought in response. I was going to say Plague Marines or a Dreadnought. Dreadnought, and I imagine it's going to go straight into Marco Zinch with that thing. Which will make it a prime target, I guess, for the Storm Boys. They can get in there, tie it up, make sure it can't fire that missile launcher, or at least try to make sure it can't. It can still move away from the Storm Boys and get some shots off, but it will be doing reasonable damage since that thing won't have melee resist. Uh-oh. Oh, they do get away. Thought I was going to wipe them. Looted tank does not have the reinforced plating or whatever they call it to give it some more hit points. But we do have a Markov Zinch Cursed Dreadnought with a very dangerous missile launcher. There it is. It was recently changed. I believe its weapon family was changed so that it doesn't hit regular infantry nearly as often as it did. It can still use that awesome Frenzied Barrage, of course, and it will still hit commanders relatively regularly. So you can get some good hits with that on commanders. Maybe the Warboss will eat a missile to his face and it will make him even angrier. 2-to-1 caps, 256 to 126. Who can kill the vehicle first? Heavy armor on the way for Toilailee's Warboss. That will take him up to 1914 hit points. Gives you plus 900 hit points. This is mad. Doesn't give him more health regen though, which is important to note. Blastmaster misfired, I think. Is he going to stay there and shoot these guys? Stick bombs could throw their... Wow, that's a very, very tempting blob to throw your stick bombs on, but in fact the Havocs had moved away. And now they're going to go for melee because these guys are actually pretty decent in melee combat. They have 80 melee skill, which is tied only by Gene Stealers. They do some decent damage. They are, of course, only 4 models of 200 hit point infantry armor orcs, but they can do a job for you. Here we see the damage of that Marco Zinch Dreadnought. It's going to get some rear armor hits from the look of it. Wow. Put it under half with 2 volleys because of that rear armor. And is not going to chase. Turns to engage the shooter boys. Raptors are in there and they're going to wipe out those shooters. Yes, they do. In fact, it's not Raptors. These are CSM. Not Raptors at all. The other shooter boys do get away. Slaughter is used on the CSM, but they don't want to fight Sluggers and Storm Boys. I don't think. There's use your choppers. Buffing their melee damage by 35%, I believe it is, and giving them something crazy like plus 60 melee skills. Oh no. Down goes a Dreadnought, but that could have been a much better engager for Toilailee if we didn't try and bring that looted tank back in there. Obviously, he wanted to shoot down the Dreadnought, but I think the Storm Boys could have done just fine by themselves. And I put that down as a misplay from Toilailee. If he came out ahead with the looted tank, that would have been a massive net gain. Good use of Bomber Boys. Charging in is the Warboss. Going to get a hit on those Havocs. Does it take a model? No. And meets the Sweeping Doom. And that does count as a hit for the debuff, I think. And there's Drain Life. Being really annoying to this Warboss here. 118, 126. Look at that power float from Tex. Headbutting the Raptors are the Storm Boys, but these Raptors way too high in health. Even with Odd Boys, he should have just jumped away immediately. And in fact, he needs to repurchase in Nob Leader now. Raptor's able to jump after them, get another model. These guys level 3 are no pushover. Don't want to fight a Warboss though, with power core and heavy armor, that's for sure. This guy approaching 2,000 hit points. And Tex has come back well. He's been disciplined, he's been working this west side, getting his points back up here. 96 to 126, another looted tank. I thought he'd definitely go for Nobs now. But I guess with that Dreadnought down, he wants to see what this looted tank can do. Drain life again. So annoying, just delaying this Warboss and everything he wants to do. Chaos Lord going for the decap, there's some stick bombs. Miss everything. This is actually a giant slope here. It's not always obvious when you look at the map from the default angle, but this is a giant slope. So the Blastmaster doesn't want to go much further back because he might just hit terrain. It is a Nob squad on the way for Toilailee, and Tex is going for another Dreadnought. Gonna see Mark of Corn, I guess. Once you see those knobs, we might see it even before he sees those knobs. And Heretics will drop a model per swing from that power core. Painful, painful stuff. But they get away okay. 78 to 117. It's a double, 2 to 1 even for Tex. Gonna be a close run thing. I think the next engagement might be the decider when a Nob squad meets what I assume is going to be a Mark of Corn Dreadnought and everything else converges. And Warboss buffs might win it for them. Not to mention a pretty damn scary Warboss in his own right. That Power Claw will help you out versus the Dreadnought. No mark yet. Maybe he's waiting to see what hits the field first. If another looted tank hits the field, he can get Mark of Zinch. If it's the Nobs, he can get the Mark of Corn. Nob squad are up. Instantly they've got Mina and Green up. Chaos Lord getting caught again. That's a really good stun bomb throw. Really beautifully aimed by Toilailee, and this guy's in trouble. Gonna use Kill the Weak and or Sweeping Doom to get away, I guess. There's Kill the Weak. And then Sweeping Doom. And the knockback strength easily allows him to get away. 78 to 79. Chaos Lord then might be off the field for what's going to be a really important engagement. Chaos Dreadnought is getting the Mark of Corn. Two setup teams here, a bit too close together for my liking. Storm Boys jumping into nowhere, expected to find some setup teams. Here we go. We have some Mark of Zinch CSM. And there is the Mark of Corn Dreadnought doing its thing. Here comes the Nob squad. There is Frenzy immediately put up. I thought he was going to wait for... Sorry, Bloodlust. I thought he was going to wait for Frenzy of the Nobs to wear off before he used it, but he used it immediately. Frenzy of the Nobs, giving them damage immunity, suppression immunity. I believe it also increases the damage they do slightly. But now the Dreadnought is tearing into them. This is really risky from Toilailee. What is he... Oh, it's going to be Call the Boys, isn't it? That's why he's staying in this engagement, because he's ready to use Call the Boys. Raptors jumping in. There is Call the Boys used just in time. That was so close. And that might have just won the game for Toilailee. Nob squad back up to full strength. Talk about a game-changing global. It's a single cap now for Toilailee. There's Odd Boys on the Nobs going after the CSM, and they are ripping them to shreds with those huge hammers. You see those momentum buffs as well. Now turning to engage the Raptors. Are they going to be forced off ever? Blastmaster gets a shot in. Doing some friendly fire though as well. And the Warboss is there, let's not forget. Nob squad not being as utterly devastating as they would if this Demonic Visage Chaos Lord wasn't around. But there's a double cut for Toilailee. I think is going to take for Tex even. Just Tex's double. Nob squad. Oh, he's lost it. I thought he was going to win. I thought that engagement got it for him, but it did not. It's Tex who takes it. He had control of both the naturals. Got completely confused by the VPs. There you have it. Tex takes it. Doesn't matter if he lost that engagement. He took the game. Some awesome Nob squad play though. Talk about a clutch usage of a global. Level 5 Warboss with a level 4 Chaos Lord. But the Chaos Lord is victorious and beats down the Orks in the end with a 78 VPs. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.